Hi YouTube, welcome to the DevXP channel. My name is Seth, and today we're going to discuss about something really interesting. And just to set it up, this is going to be more of a series, and then we discuss a lot of features of Next.js. But for the sake of this video, we are going to limit it to just the basics. So it's just going to be like an overview and an introduction to Node.js and some of the capabilities that it will do. Yes, the reason is because you have the Kong React guys, those ones that have set their minds on React, and they've always asked what's the use of Next.js, like what benefit does it offer them? Because as far as they are concerned, it doesn't offer any benefit. Whatever Next.js does, um React does. And another set of people are the people that just know like the theoretical parts of the difference between React and Next.js. I think they really have not seen a proof of the difference between the two of them. So this video is just an introduction to the whole subject. With time, with subsequent time, we will make more detailed videos on how they differ from each other. Now, with that said, let's begin the code. So let me just share you my VS Code. um if you have not watched our previous videos, I recommend you do, like the last video about mono repos. So this just this is just an overview of this just be a build up of how to do. So if you see that this project structure looks a little bit more complex, that video I think should give you better clarity on how the structure of the project is. And I will leave a link to the GitHub repo for the project down in the description, so that you can be able to look at the project and see how everything works out together. Okay, so why do you need React? Why do you need Next.js, since React works out of the box fine? Now, one of the most popular one you hear is Next.js is good for SEO, but React is not. And but really, how does that work? So now we have the same project. Basically, it's a bare-bone project. It's an NX project. So this page, the two pages are literally the same page, just built with one is built with Next.js, that's this one, and the one is built with React. So let me just close this, and this is the React version of the project. This is how they are different. One of the primary things with Node.js is that Node.js runs mostly on the server. So Node.js is server first and client side second, and React is other way. React just works only on the client. So how do you get to prove this? So now I did a small demo. Now on this demo is just a simple app, which is this app, which is this app, which basically just shows a welcome page for NX, and there's nothing special about it. And you can see this console log right on line 5, and what it basically prints is hello YouTube React. So if I refresh this page, boom, you see it here, hello YouTube React. And welcome to the Next.js app, and you say, and you print the same thing. This is a React component, right? It's supposed to run on the client, since we know how React does. But if you run it, it doesn't show anything, right? So sorry, this is it. It doesn't show anything. So let me refresh. It doesn't show anything. It just shows an error. This error. Sorry, ignore the error. So like no matter what you do, it doesn't show. So what happened to the console log? Actually, it's running on the server, and this is where it's coming from. So if I do Next.js app and I rerun, still nothing happens here. But when I come to the server, it works here. Now, and if I no, so that now if I come back to the React app, this is its server, right? and this is just basically a Vite app and nothing special about it. So if I refresh this app, nothing happens here. If I want this code now to run on the client, I have to tell Next.js that I want this code to run on the client. So how do you do that? You do that with this use client declarative. And if I post this on this, so what this just tells Next.js is these components should not be rendered on the server. It should rather be rendered on the client. So if I refresh this same page, you see, boom, it shows here next app, right? And it's coming from the components. Yeah. So you ask, why is this important? It's important because it helps you run server-based components, server-based code, things that codes that actually run on the server. You can run it directly from Node.js and Next.js straight from the component itself. Unlike React, that you cannot call server APIs. And I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now to go back to the SEO part. So what makes Node.js special from the SEO part? So what makes it good for SEO? So when you come here, now I'm going to use something called Postman. If you have never used Postman, do your research on it and you'll figure it out. It allows you to make requests to endpoints and basically makes you make requests. If you have ever used something like CURL or wget, it works basically like that. Or Node.js, purely Node.js without anything. It basically gives you the same thing. So what this allows us to do is to call the endpoints as they are. So now if I call, this is the React app, right? So if I call the React app, let me send the request. If I call the React app, you notice that it just gives me a bare bone HTML page. Like there's nothing special about this. There's nothing here, right? So it's just a script tag and the title of the page, and that's it. So now when you look at this, what does it do? Literally nothing. So a robot, something like the Google robot, like an indexing robot, can just go through this page and they have zero idea what the content of this page, because usually you make robots from API endpoints. So if you call this from Node.js, it's the same thing that is going to show you. So let's assume now you want to crawl through this page. You have no idea what is going on. And if I do a preview, if I go to preview, this just previews the HTML. This just parses the HTML. And now you can see there is literally nothing here, right? Because it's just a blank HTML page. So now imagine that you're a web scraper, right? Yes, imagine you're a web scraper and then you want to scrape through a React app. That's what you see. So basically you just have the notion that this page is blank. For this page to work, it has to go through the browser and then run JavaScript. And how do you see the JavaScript? Is this is the main.csx. This is where the JavaScript is coming from, and this is where, yeah, this is what gives your code life. Yeah, this is what gives your code life. This is what creates. So how React basically works is, after you made the call, after you get this page, it gets the HTML, it gets the JavaScript, and then it runs it. And it's by that running that it dynamically generates the page. And NX and Postman doesn't run the JavaScript, it just shows the HTML and CSS. So you're seeing a bare bone app here. But now when you come to your Next.js app, right, you see something different. You see Next.js will give you a more detailed page. So you can see a full-blown HTML page, right, with the icons and everything. And from this, a web crawler can crawl and then know, okay, and there's a h2 tag that says next step. There's a h2 tag, a p tag that says this, and then it can be able to crawl through the page. And that's because the code actually ran on the server, right? So, and because it ran on the server, the React ran on the server, it was able to generate um all the contents of the page. So now if I go to preview, you would see a bare bone React app, a bare bone HTML app. Now you ask, so why is it that there's no CSS in this? Because it needs a client to run. So JavaScript itself is not going to run, and JavaScript is not going to run here because, like I said, this only runs HTML and CSS. So this is what is going to bring you up. But this makes sense to a robot. A robot can still dictate all of these links and all of the content of the page, and be able to index it properly. And when you come back to here, when you come back to the browser, that's when you see the HTML, sorry, the JavaScript and the CSS. Yes, the JavaScript will properly run, and then it gives you the normal UI of the page. Now, with this, and this is through a process called hydration, right? And what is hydration? Hydration basically means when you make a call to Next.js, what it does is it ships you this bare bone app without the JavaScript and anything. It just ships you this bare bone app. So when it ships you this, and then the browser displays it to you first. When the browser displays this to you, then the JavaScript kicks in. So you see the same line of JavaScript that the same JavaScript that the React app has, it also has it here. So if I can find it, so it has a script tag here. So now this script now makes the call, and then it gives the page life. Basically, that's what hydration means. So it ships the normal HTML to you, and then after it ships the normal HTML to you, that's the one that is able to run on the browser. And after it runs on the browser, then it kicks in. Now, remember in our former example, in our previous example, we said something like this component. We showed this component, right? We showed these components, and this component only runs on the server. So now if you come here, you see it here. So you see the content, I'm a component here, and you see it here. But now when you come to the preview, you will not see it here. Okay, so so you may be asking, so why is it that it's only showing, so you may be asking, why is it that it's only showing bare bone HTML, like there's no styles to it, right? So the reason is because the styles, like for this page, it's coming from a style component, right? So the style may not run well there. But now if you manually put the style, and then you say color, let's make it green, and you refresh this, and you refresh this, you see, so now the HTML, the CSS style comes in. So whenever you are making whenever you are styling from JavaScript or from any dynamic styling library, it's not going to work. It's not going to apply. But whenever you're styling directly from here, from CSS, this will also work. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful for you to figure out why HTML is not how why Next.js is needed. And apart from the SEO part, which allows crawlers to crawl through your website, one of the advantage of Next.js again is it allows you to do something called use OG tags, and basically what they do is, I don't know if you have ever been to a social media, say WhatsApp or Instagram or Twitter. When you tweet a link, you see that it will show you like a preview of the page. So it shows you a page and a picture, and then it shows you a title, and it shows you a brief description of what the page is about. Now, this is done through something called OG tags. So we are going to we might make a video about it in the future. So one one thing that this thing helps you do is with React you cannot do this because you cannot use OG tags with React, and that is because you are shipped a blank page. So for the OG tags to work, for the OG tags to work, it will have to render the page. And most of the crawlers, most of the OG tags providers don't run the JavaScript. So that means even if you use the OG tag on the head, it is completely useless to you. But with Next.js, because it gives you a bare bone app, you can still use the OG tags, and whenever your link to your site is shared, you see that nice overview of the page. So it shows you a nice picture of the page, a nice brief description of what is the content of the page and the title of the page. So I hope this video was helpful for you to figure out the difference between Next.js and React. And this is just basically me showing you the SEO part. There are other parts of Next.js that makes it really cool, like it forces you to do page-based routing. We're going to discuss this in more details, and a better part, like the pattern of using pages, the file-based routing instead of the component-based routing. And like I said, this is going to be like a series of discussion about what makes Next.js special from normal React. So I hope this helps. I hope this video was useful to you. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to get our merch. I'm going to leave the link to the store in the description section. So have a nice day and see you in the next one.